I'm going to build a on an H110M H motherboard. I'm going to try a ready for this? A Celeron 3930. I think it's a $45 retail chip CPU, 2-core, 2.9. But I found that for media, media streaming, even some light gaming, it's a good little CPU for $39. And I'm going to throw this chip in this 110 chipset motherboard, gigabyte, and I'll throw it on a bench with a power supply and see if we get it running, which we will. And go cheap. So you could do that. You could get a motherboard for 80 bucks, 70 bucks. You get this chip for 39, 40 bucks figure. $110, you get the basis of the system. Put a Pevia, one of the $30 power supply on there. So under 200 bucks, even with a case, you could be under 200. You can get yourself a nice little system and build it up from there. And anytime it's an 1151 socket, you can do any 6th and most 7th generation chips. So you can always upgrade to an i7, i5 or something like that. But in the meantime, you can be up and running and playing and learning about computers and doing stuff and expanding it. And inexpensive. Difference between inexpensive and cheap. Alright guys, so I'll be back. So a lot of these cases, like this InWin D frame, see the original retail price was $349, still a couple $100 bucks. So these are expensive. The Fantex, that's a beautiful all aluminum case, fantastic management, you know, water coolers, LEDs, lots of hard drives. It gets expensive, especially with a Ryzen $200-300 CPU, $200 case, $150 motherboard. So here we're going to do something a little different. We have a Celeron $39 chip, comes with standard cooler with thermal paste already applied, 39 bucks, and an H110 chipset, nice motherboard with HDMI, DDR4. RAM's expensive, but you can still buy DDR4. Right now you can buy 4 gigs at a time for about 70 bucks per stick. So this system throw together with a cheap power supply, you're talking $30, $100, under $200. You can learn about building a computer, build one, and have a decent system. And anytime you want, you can take this little Celeron and upgrade it to a i7, i5, something seriously powerful. And this is a good little motherboard. And what we're going to do is we'll throw this together, and you guys can have yourself a nice working good computer. You can get a case for $25 or less, but you can hold out for something nice. This master box 600 with a plexi door, and it was under $50. So you're still talking about 200 bucks. You can have yourself a nice system. That's not right. You get a little cheaper on the box because you got to buy RAM. You can start with 4 gigs, which can do pretty much anything you need to do, and you'll go out to the hard drive a lot, but still usable. And you go to 8 gigs when you're ready, and it'll play games with the onboard graphics. You don't need a graphics card to start, and you can stream. You can go online to YouTube, do any kind of processing you need to do, basic good stuff. And you can add a graphics card and play some serious games. Although Modern Warfare, this plays on this chip with 1 gigabyte of memory allocated towards the graphics section. It plays fine. I played it at 1080, which is really pushing it, but it did it in a decent frame rate. It was usable. So that's one of the better ways to build a nice and inexpensive quality system. Alright, we're going to do that soon. Since I'm on a wooden surface, usually I build on the box, but I keep a piece of foam handy just for this type of a thing, you know. So we throw the chip in there. 5-minute machine. Throw a chip in there, CPU. I'll show you how. Throw the cooler on. Power supply on the bench, 24 and 4 pin. Really to get started, that's all you need. And fire it up. You got a BIOS running, HDMI connector. Plug it in there, and set everything up from there and go. Okay. So The socket has a socket protector. Because the pins are in the socket itself, you always have to protect them. On AMD, all the Ryzen and all the earlier AMD stuff, except the Threadripper, the pins are on the chip. So there's always an indicator. You see the little arrow on the bottom of my left? So basically you just open this guy out, look for the arrow here, match up the arrows, and what's interesting is I'd say 99 or 100% of the time the arrow is directly opposite the handle, the release lever. So you gotta be very careful. You can't slide this around. You just drop it in, and there's a couple of pins here that make sure it's oriented properly. That looks good. Well, it does. The plastic's supposed to pop off, but that was pretty intense. So that's it. She's in. Looks good. Settled in nice. And this guy, you basically line up the holes under here. Also, if you ever want to take this out, you have to counterclockwise turn these little locking mechanisms, and then you can release it. I'll lift it up because I don't want to put too much undue pressure on the board. Believe it or not, that's it. She's done. Alright guys, so I found the cheapest power supply I have laying around. Actually pretty decent, little Roswell. I think it's 350 watt. Switching power supply, 8400 VTX, 400 watt max. So we got to put in the turn this around. Put a notch on the side of the connector. 24 pin. Four pin. And that's enough to get BIOS running. So let's check that out. Alright, so we got HDMI cable hooked up. 24 pin and 4 pin, power supply switched on, and we just got to hit the jumper to power this up. Literally a 10-minute build, literally. Okay, so I threw a memory stick in here, USB here, and I put a Wi-Fi dongle here for the mouse, and it's hooked up to the large monitor. Let's power it up, and so you can find the right pins. There we go. And there she goes. BIOS has been reset. Please reconfigure your BIOS setup items if needed. Alright, I don't think it's needed, but we'll also, you should always keep this covered, because if you take this chip out and upgrade, or you switch the motherboard around, which a lot of us builders do, you put this back on to protect the pins on the socket. And, okay, so let's see if this mouse is working. Sorry about the angle. Alright, so she's up doing her thing. BIOS F2.0, which is good. That'll run the i7 7700s and all that good stuff. BIOS state, BIOS system. Okay, there should be an easy mode over here, something silly. CPU. Oh yeah, CPU speed. What it's doing, memory, voltage, temperature. So inexpensive system, 10-minute build, literally. To throw that in a case now is another 10 minutes. So there you go. Okay, that's easy mode. So it shows the BIOS, the chip, CPU speed and memory, temperature, core voltage, overclocking not supported, CPU fan speed, SATA information. So I can go in and set this up for throw a disk drive on there and put Windows on it and whatever else I got to do. But there you go. There's your under $200 computer, even with a case. Alright guys, so that was fun, and we'll be back. So I switched the monitor to this other guy over here, and we can look through the BIOS real quick. Basically we're done. We'll just take a quick look through the BIOS, see if there's anything interesting. Chipset 110, the chipset, BIOS version, CELERON CPU 3930, 2.9 gig, running at 29.99, 4 gigs of memory. Voltage, system temp. We can send smart fan, yeah. CPU temperature warning. So let's make it when it gets to 60 centigrade, it'll warn us. And fail warning will enable. Core voltage. We can go to pulse width modulation for the fan, but we don't have to right now because there's only the one fan, which is the CPU fan, which we can set for silent, manual, full speed. When I go full speed, you should really hear it ramp up. Hear it? So it's going up to 3,200 RPM. Let's go to normal. 1600, 1662, and that's without even exiting BIOS and saving the settings. Internal graphics, here we go. Total memory allocated is 256 megs. So let's go to max, which we don't even know what that is. Doesn't tell you. That's really weird. And what's oh, pre-allocated, here we go. Half a gig. Let's go to 1 gig. This I don't think we have to go to max. So we got 1 gig on a graphics card. We should be able to play some games. Power settings. I don't know, my keyboard or no power on, password. My mouse, let's do mouse. So when it goes to sleep, you can double click it and bring it back up. Power button instant off, that's good. Or you can do delay. 4 second delay, so you have to hold the power button. That way you don't hit it by accident. Alright, so either F10 or save and exit. F10 is usually how you get out. Let's save and exit. Save the settings that we changed. Hard drive and 1 SATA data. You can plug it into any plug, it doesn't matter. In the old days you had to assign it, but now it'll read it where it sees it. So system done. Another winner. So you guys, anybody who's never built a system, don't be hesitant. Go give it a shot. You can't really mess it up. Alright guys, we're going to throw a Wi-Fi connector on this USB port on one of these. I'm going to install this hard drive, 1 terabyte. I think it has Windows already on it, but if not, I'm going to load Windows on it, and then we'll go load Steam and play a game on this machine with no graphics card, just onboard graphics, and see how it does. Alright, we'll be back. So you just plug in a SATA power cord and a SATA data connector off any one of these SATA ports, and you're all set to go. Alright, so everything's hooked up. We'll give it a try. Now it'll probably try to boot from this hard drive. There's no operating system on there. It's probably not going to boot. Then I'll show you how to load Windows from there. So there seems to be a version of Windows on here. Let me click it and see what it's doing. Alright, so we're going to have to load Windows on here. So you can go to Microsoft and load a copy of Windows on an SD drive, USB port. I'm going to plug that in. This is a 3.0 reader, blue. And let's see if we can get Windows loaded. These some older hard drives I had laying around, but they should be good. When it loads Windows, it will set the parameters and format it and all that good stuff. Let's go to boot with USB. So it's going to load Windows onto this hard drive. But to set it up, it only takes 3 or 4 hours. Now it's pretty quickly. English. Install now. So you go to Microsoft, downloads, go to Windows. You go to Windows 10 Pro, Windows, download it, and it'll save it to USB. That's what it says. If you want to save it on this computer or save it on a USB to install on another computer, click here. So you do that, and it'll then ask you for a product key. You can tell you don't have one, and it'll send it right up free. So it said it couldn't load Windows on that space. I should have put it here. So let's try and do that. Alright, here we go. No product key. Windows 10 Pro. Sign up for your life. Custom install. Not actually letting me put it there, so I'm doing it from here. That reserve space probably has a backup system, or will make a mirror. We'll have to see. Alright, this is going to take a while. I'll be back. So it's getting files ready, 40%. I'm not going to bore you and make you watch this. It'll do that. It'll do features. It'll try to do updates. It'll finish up. Updates take forever. I may tell it not to until later. Alright, so getting everything ready. Here it goes. Once we get this loaded, I'll pop a wireless in there and go online, grab Steam, and go get, I think I'll run Modern Warfare. See how it does. Yeah, that first try. Alright, so United States, yes. US, yes. Keyboard, skip. I usually skip Cortana too. Skip for now. Do that later. I usually skip past. If you want to skip password, just next. Cortana there. Get rid of this stuff. So there it is. It's looking for a display driver. See, it's got a Microsoft Basic display adapter, but it should be like the 4600. So let's, oh, I gotta go online first, I think. Let's see. Go down here to the right. Oh, connection's available, but it's not hooked up. Alright, so she's online. It's probably already going out and looking for drivers. Windows will do that. Windows 10 is really decent with that. What we'll do is we'll go back to, we'll close this. We'll go back to Microsoft Update Driver. Right click on there, automatically online. I mean, it's working right now, but it's using generic Microsoft. And the correct drivers will be the Intel, I think it's the 4600 on this chip. I'm not sure. I'll look it up. It's just about finished downloading. Then it's going to have to install them. Another process. But you'll see it's going to go from Microsoft Basic Display Adapter to like an Intel 4600, something like that. And I remember I already went to BIOS and allocated a gigabyte of RAM for the graphics section of the chip. So you're going to go get some games and see how this does with no graphics card. I think you'll be impressed. Okay, now it's going to the installing drivers mode, and during this it may black out. The screen will turn black, come up and down a couple of times. Don't panic, it's not doing anything wrong. So this is really a small step-by-step building guide for first timers, or you know, someone hasn't built a system in 10 years. It's gotten a lot easier. It's always good to build on the bench before you put it in the case, because if there's issues, getting in the case and trying to pull connectors and move things around and check things out is not easy. So you do it all on the bench first, make sure everything's working, then you get in there. See there, we got a black screen. It's not a BSOD, blue screen of death, it's a black screen of life, BSOL. Okay, now look at this, Intel HD Graphics 610. You see the difference? The resolution is already better. It's tighter, brighter. So we got that done, and we've got internet. Got internet access right here. Ooh, just realized we may not have any audio on the set.
Whiner, cheater, meet the new class of heroes coming into their own.
Okay, so we got audio.
Who, after being called by Luke's lightsaber,
This is kind of cool
gets
to
called
test.
by the Jedi text, called by a big wet hole, and called by her greatest frenemy.
Alright.
Yet still gets zero answers to.
I agree. English. Drive C. Usually if you have an SSD with your operating system, you change that to DE or whatever the other drive is, not your SSD. You just want to keep operating system on on C. Alright. There's Steam. Like I was saying, this is all still our benchtop system here. Alright, I'll go to Steam, go get one of these games. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I don't know how many years this is going to take, but we got 11.2 gigabytes loaded up 11.3. It started at 708, so it took 46 minutes to load 11.3 gigabytes. It isn't bad because then I'm on wireless and I got 4 or 5 other devices running at the same time. It's pretty good. Alright, so that's this benchtop system. Gigabyte H110M-H Intel 3930 Celeron processor, $39. So we're talking literally $200 system. And I'm gonna see if we can run how this runs. Now when I went to BIOS, I loaded I put 1 gigabyte of RAM on the internal graphics. So let's see how this does. This is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I figure including a cheap case you should be able to do this for $200. And it's all new stuff. The CPU is a 7th generation 2017 CPU. Motherboard is a 2016 and 17 current motherboard. There's all new pieces, no used stuff. The only thing used was the hard drive that I just happen to have laying around. But almost everybody does. So let's see if this is how this does.
Welcome to Pull the Trigger 101. Private Allen here is going to do a quick weapons demonstration to show you locals how it's done. No offense, but I see a lot of you guys fighting from the hip and spraying bullets all over the ring.
I gotta go set this thing up. Okay, go to options. That's good. There we go, 1024, 1068. So that should be good right there. Control, I'm using a mouse. So let's do forward, mouse 5, back, mouse 4, left LFD, and this should be good. This is a $200 gaming system with onboard graphics. I gotta check the I have to make sure I still have that 1 gigabyte still up there. I see, it doesn't look bad. There's nothing to think about it. It's not bad at all. It wants me to fire from the hip.
You see what I mean? He's spraying bullets all over the damn place. You've got to pick your targets by aiming deliberately down your sights from a stable stance. Private Allen, show our friends here how the Rangers take down a target. Crouch first, then aim down your sight at the targets. Allen, adopt the crouching stance and aim down your sights. I need you to fire while crouched, Private. Allen, adopt the crouching stance and aim down your sights. That's all there is to it. You want your targets to go down? You gotta aim down your sights. Now, if your target is behind light cover, remember that certain weapons can penetrate and hit your target. The private here will demonstrate. Last but not least, you need to know how to toss a frag grenade. Private Allen, pick up some frag grenades from the table. Toss the grenade down the range to take out several targets at once. Note that frags tend to roll on sloped surfaces. So think twice before tossing one up here. Alright. Thanks for the help, Private Allen. Now get over to the pit. General Shepard wants to see you run the course. Alright. Who wants to go first? Show me what you've learned so far.
Looks pretty good, huh? Onboard graphics, no GPU, no graphics card, $39 chip. Let's look around. Good detail on this guy's face.
Hey, Private. Welcome back to the pit. Our General Shepard wants to pull a shooter from our unit for some special op. You're right, he's up there in observation. Go ahead and grab her pistol. Alright, try switching to your rifle. Timer starts as soon as the first target pops.
It looks pretty good. So you see, it's, you know, it's for $200 minus plus, pretty good. So that's this guy,
Timer starts as soon as the first target.
this drive, 2 power supply.
I don't know why they don't put us in the first hour. Very much the Rangers can't do the SF and Delta can, or whatever.
I think it's a $17 Wi-Fi dongle, $11 wireless keyboard and mouse, and that's it. She's all done. So if you guys want to build a system, this is probably a good way to start. All new components. Unbelievable. You can pick up a case probably between 20 and 40 bucks. That's nice. You can spend like 55 and get a tempered glass. I see tempered glass as low as $48 now.
Okay, Private Allen, we don't have all day.
You get an LED kit for 11 bucks, 7 bucks to 11 bucks. And dial it up nice. You get color fans. Usually fans are included, but you get fans with the box. So that's our update for today. Desktop PC. Inexpensive. It runs great. Actually, let me go look at the BIOS and see if still got the 1 gigabyte allocated for graphics card, the graphics section of the CPU. And on the graphics, I could probably up that to a little more. Let's see, whatever the max is. That wasn't the worst. So there you go, nice gaming machine, home theater PC, school machine, whatever you need, you know, online work. If you load the iNTEL, diagnostics, it'll run a nice bench test on the CPU and everything. Oh, there you go. I went a little heavy on the difficulty, but let's see. That's the heat banging around here. It usually stays very warm in here. When I was doing some mining, that's when it got warm, but right now, Bitcoin is down to about 7,200 and still dropping, so it's almost not worth it. Good education, good experiment though.
Let's do this.
So what do you think, guys? How does this look? The updates are getting in the way. The only problem on Windows is trying to do some things to this. Looks good.
We need to rethink our strategy.
Yeah, diagnostics, some other good stuff on here. So I'll let her run. So there she is. The incredible iNTEL CELERON gaming machine, Windows 10 Pro, online special, HTPC. You can use this for number crunching, schoolwork, streaming, YouTube, editing, basic editing. You can do a lot with this little guy. So 200 bucks with a case, I think you can put this together. All new components. It's a 7th generation chip, DDR4 memory, gigabyte, this year's model, gigabyte motherboard, HDMI, USB 3. Just a lovely, lovely thing. Alright guys, that was fun. So we'll see you on the next adventure. Hope you enjoyed this long, prattling, going on and on video. But I wanted to give you guys something that you could use. Alright, happy holidays. April Fool's Day is coming. Go fool somebody and build a nice computer.